So I got a quick couple of things to talk about. First of all, I want to bring this up again. So when I was in Tampa, there are Patreon members on my Patreon page. We just Zoomed again last night. And they started the Patreon members started becoming like friends with each other. They started messaging one another and they started talking to one another. And, and they're like, oh my God, they would message me going, you don't understand what this is creating and all this jazz. And I didn't understand. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I was on the phone with so-and-so for 3 hours last night. I'm like, what? Patreon members doing that? Like you guys are... Then it was, hey, we're all going to come to Florida. And they flew from all around the country just to have a barbecue and get together and hang out and then come see me. And I ended up going to that barbecue. And I was beforehand, I was a little, I don't know how to describe it, not weirded out, but like I told you, when I tour at Metallica, they have fans that come see them at every single show, and they're like a little community, and they all hang out, And I gotta say, I'm not good with receiving gifts and compliments and stuff like that. I'm just being honest. It makes me, it's like, thank you. When they got together, and you see how real they are. And you start seeing your face like this guy he's taking care of his dad, and the mom's helping with the dad, and they're all just a family. And this one's gone through some serious hardship in their life and just didn't really want to probably venture out anymore. Maybe they were too hurt. They didn't want to create, and they all kind of flocked around this person. And then this couple's like really fun and all this and I started realizing, ever since I was a kid, the way I grew up in a community was the greatest little community. We all looked after each other. We still all hang out. It's the Jefferson Avenue kids. And even beyond that. And then once I left that street, then you're out in the world and you're venturing off to be all you can be and have a career and make tons of money and be better than your siblings and show off everything that you got. I'm smart, I'm rich, I'm whatever it is. And I always longed for that little community again. And I found it in New Jersey with the coffee shop, the Maria's Crew, which I've talked about a couple times on here. That became a community, a family. And none of us cared. Like I said, the greatest motto was we'd all get together, and the one guy would say, I'll never forget what he said. He goes, you know why we all get along? Because no one thinks who they are. We all just look after each other, do things for each other, because no one thinks who they are. No one cares how smart you are or how much money you made. None of that matters when it comes to the little community. And what I realized from this Patreon group, and now I think it's so cool. They created their own little community, their own little family, their own little group. And I can only hope that happens more and more throughout here and beyond. And it inspired me. And I told him that day, it inspired me to go, I want to try. And Joe Sib would talk to me about this too. Let's start a weekend. Let's just do a weekend. We'll do everything you want to do, like podcast stuff. You want to get heavy in the morning, have people come, have bagels, coffee, and I'm going to get into some cool, heavy stories throughout my life. We could do a different event, just Q&A, hanging out, a concert, comedians, musical, food trucks, wiffle ball, pool, a whole weekend. And not so much, it's not really me, it's putting all these people together. And then they all start realizing they have so much in common. And that's what lies in the deeper part of us. Just longing to be part of a community. That's it. That's really it. So anyway, that's a long promo, but I'm just being dead honest to lead to a true blue weekend the minute true brew weekend the minute, although I may bring Josh Blue, so then it would be true blue. And looking at September sometime in Florida. Now, I got to clear something up, all right? August 3rd, it's not on the website, but August 3rd, most likely 99.9%, I'm going to be at the Gramercy Theater in New York City. August 5th, the Paramount, where I always play in Huntington, New York. Two totally different shows. August 5th, full-blown stand-up comedy like my regular shows. August 3rd is the beginning of a tour, sneak preview of me, Joe Sib, Ricky Rackman, the kid, James, our film guy, Master of Comedy Tour. We have all the footage from touring with Metallica, and we have all the stories, the good, the bad, the hilarious. And it's going to be a really fun night. We're going to show footage. We're going to tell the stories. I'm going to tell you the history, how I know these guys. How did I end up touring with Metallica? Well, let's start way back in 1995. 1995, 1996, when I first bumped into Lars, and now that led to the world. And here I am touring with them and, knowing and the footage and all that jazz. So we got all that. That's going to be August 3rd. Totally different event. More of a very intimate, even though they'll be in theaters. I'm super stoked. So 2 different events. August 5th, the Paramount. August 3rd, the Gramercy. I believe the Paramount may be on sale now, those tickets. All right. Bing, bing, boom. Let's get into this. We got to get into some bunker stuff. I got to put my bunker glasses on, and let's get my bunker buddy, Jimmy Shaka. That didn't sound right, bunker buddy. Oh, I like your environment.
Greetings from Mars. What's going on? Here I am on Mars. I'm broadcasting live from Mars. And I thought I'd check in with Earth. How's Earth? How's Earth doing?
It's doing good, Jim. I noticed that Mars seems to be greener than I anticipated.
Well, yeah, that's part of propaganda so that more people don't want to go there. We got everything here. We got life, we got water, we got people. Mars is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Really? So
yeah, look,
what is the temperature there in Mars?
70 degrees. It's a beautiful day here on Mars. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm actually really impressed with my cell phone provider that I'm getting a signal from Mars. But other than that, yeah, everything's cool.
Well, what's really cool too is the lighting. Like it looks freaking awesome where you are right now. Like, I'm a little envious. I kind of want to go on my hike.
Dude, can you take a look at what I'm surrounded with in 360 degrees over here, right? You know where I am. Do you know where I am?
I'm
just from the landscape.
Arizona.
Where specifically?
Sedona.
Exactly. Sedona, Arizona. There's no place like it on Earth, man. It's its own thing. Like all this stuff used to be underwater. That's why it looks like this. And meanwhile, 4,000 feet above sea level right now. So go figure that out. It's nuts.
I never understood that. I never understood how, because clearly when you go to Arizona, Nevada, and you see you see the landscape and all the different colors, and you can tell like water plowed through there. I can't
Yep.
wrap my head around how deep the water must have been, or I can't. And then where did
Well,
it go?
well, yeah. I mean, that's because the Earth is constantly, flipping and getting all jumbled up and all this stuff, and not to mention that there's stories about like millions and millions of years ago, maybe billions, that we were part of another planet called Tiamat, which was a bigger planet that another planet knocked into and broke a huge chunk off, which became the Earth. That's kind of the story. So maybe this was all underwater back then. Who
I
knows?
never that story.
Yeah, yeah. That's supposed to be like, or like origins of the universe, but it's only through like a guy like Edgar Casey who could, psychically, because there were no people like us back then.
Sure.
Stuff like that, like that's the story that they tell of the origins of Earth and
Sure.
all that.
So how long are you out there?
I'm out here for a week.
Just
Yeah,
hanging
just
out.
here with my girlfriend, just on vacation, just enjoying it.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks
So
for coming on, man. You didn't have to do
yeah,
this.
yeah, no, but this is great. I mean, just to share this view with everybody is just worth it, you know.
This
So
is awesome. Do you know what I
yeah,
was? I was going to go out my kayak today, but I was worried the link wouldn't work. So I kind of want to do one from the kayak.
yeah. Remember when we did the radio show? We used to do like we would go to somebody's backyard and just
Yeah,
do like remotes. Yeah,
yeah. Those are the best ones.
yeah, yeah.
Those
On the spot, whatever you call it, on location.
before I
Right.
forget. Before I
Yeah.
forget. So last night I'm on with the Patreon people, and well, actually no. During the day I had to interview the Patreon members. I do interviews with them, and they interview me. And one of them brought up, how did the whole history of you starting to get into music and da 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 da, and when did you make this album? Well, then we started going into when we started hanging as Willie's Basement,
Right. Right.
and
Which yeah.
but now they're starting to know who you are.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
I really knew who you were, but now people are like, dude, Jimmy Shaka. Like they know you got your own little
Right.
following, and they're
Right.
starting to go, oh, Breuer and Shaka. Oh my God, that's him in hardcore in the background. These guys have known each other for a long time. Oh, damn. Well, we were talking about, the world and what we're living in and all this stuff. And I said, there are two songs that Shocking that we did.
Yeah.
One was called Think,
Yep.
and the other one was I'm Addicted. They got
Okay.
me addicted. They got
Dude,
me.
they're all good stuff. I don't know if you've listened to all the stuff, but like we made with Nick Bocott, we made like an album's worth of material that's pretty powerful.
Oh my
There was,
God.
you
Forgot
remember
about.
that?
Yes.
There was a song called "Pull the Rug Out." Everything is like has a little political, like a little social commentary, I'm going to say, and it's all so appropriate to the world today. And this was years ago that we were doing this stuff.
So you still have all this? You got to send this,
I
and
get
we
Yeah,
should do a show on that just here. Like
yes,
screw.
yeah, and then maybe we'll make them available on like iTunes or something, you know,
Yeah.
or yeah, Spotify and all that jazz,
I kind
you
of want
know.
to revisit, and maybe others can write the lyrics or whatever. We could have fun doing the I'm Addicted.
Yeah.
They got me dig my blah blah, dig my Nestle quick. That was such a cool little ditty. So I told him, I said, I have hours and hours of Willie's Basement of us just jamming,
Yep.
talking, creating. And I think it's fascinating how now we can revisit it and start to
Yep.
see it, because it basically, we're talking about everything that's going on right here, right now.
So 100%. And I loved, like, there was always there was a magic to it. And the magic was, we would go down there. Maybe we would, have a little,
I already
it's
let them
legal now.
relax.
We would get relaxed. Maybe we would get a little relaxed. But then we would just pick up instruments. You would get on a mic. Sometimes you would go doobie 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 boo 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 boo, and then okay, let me try to figure it out. Doom doo 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 doo, and Larry would just jump in, boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka, and then you start singing your lyrics, right? And sometimes you would go on for like 20 minutes, and we would just riff, and then we would get these really cool pockets where, like, that part was awesome. And then we, there was no other parts, and then that part was awesome. And then I would take all those little pockets that were awesome and just boil them down and make like this 3-minute song, and that's all it was. It was just,
There was a lot of fun, man. And now there was oh my God, there was shoot, I forgot I was gonna go with it. But there was
I know them all. There was this one that I really loved. It was just me and you, and I'm just noodling on acoustic guitar, and you start singing about, like, a guy that's going off to, like,
war.
Iraq. Yeah. And it's like, hey dad, hey mom and dad,
Yes.
it was called Who's Really Looking After Me?
Who's really looking after me? Damn.
Dude, that is a beautiful. It was powerful and beautiful, and you gotta just let people hear this stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the past, I felt extremely vulnerable and way too scared to let this out. Where now,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. It was part of things we were doing, things we were thinking, and I think it's important that
Right.
people know how long we've been thinking like this, how long we've been trying to talk like this, and it's got me. Yeah, but no, go ahead. Me and you talked about something too a long time ago, where this all starts. Beginning of the show, I said I want to have what I would call a true brew weekend, where it's podcast and then that, while I was thinking, and as I'm talking to you, I remember me and you talking about this, going, we don't know what it is, but we'll just like talk, and we have like stand up and music, and you always said it's just the event.
The event.
The event.
Yes. And now there's things they call the event.
The event.
Like, and it goes, it's weird because there are like these even in like new agey circles or whatever, they talk about, there's this thing they call the event, and it's like something to do with the sun, like a solar flare or something. But it is interesting how we said the event, maybe subconsciously, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but it just got me all. It's just starting to all resonate with me once again. I gotta say, I gotta hand it to my Patreon people. No disregard to any fan or whatever, but the Patreon, they are really opening me up to whole different dimensions that I forgot existed, or I felt too vulnerable to expose or let.
Go ahead.
No,
I was going to say they're almost like when we did the serious thing, it was just a hardcore little pack that would show up at every show, that would do the forum on the website, you know what I mean?
Yes, I forgot. That's right. So, well, I don't know. You sent a pretty wild video. That was like right up there, change of the currency and all that stuff. I found one, like, I don't know how, like, we're at a good spot right now. I don't know, and I know people waiting for Bunker, which technically this is all Bunker. But
no, dude, yeah. I'm hiding out on Mars. That's how deep I want to go into the bunker.
Well, all right. So I want to start out, I want to shoot out the gate with, I want everyone to really listen to this, because whether you're for or against, it doesn't matter, because it
Yeah.
exists and you can't stop it. This blew me away. This guy's approach, I forgot I was in the bunker. This guy's approach completely blew me away. And the first time I started hearing about this was the first time I lived in Florida in the late 80s. And I'll get into that story after this video. Mike, can you play the militia guy?
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Johnson.
Hi, how you guys doing? Senators? One of the things I wanted to bring up, first let me tell you who I am. Name's James Johnson, co-founder of a group called E Pluribus Unum, and one of the leaders and spokesperson for the Ohio Unorganized Militia. I've spoken to many groups around Ohio and in other states, and I've also helped start some groups. Now, what I wanted to touch on was what Mr. Thompson said. I think he focused on a key point, which was why these groups are forming. Why is it growing like it is? And that's some of the topics that need to be addressed. And I think maybe you can talk to some people on the inside like you have here to answer those questions. To put it to you bluntly, some of the legislation that's coming out of Washington, some of the executive actions that are taking place, ladies and gentlemen, these things started a revolution 200 years ago and got this country started. And the people are seeing this. The national news media and the actions of this government is some of the best recruitment we could have. We don't have to say much. All you have to do is talk to the average person out there to tell you, how do you feel about your government? And the people you look at here, we're the calm ones. We're the ones that calm people down. Now, I'm speaking here as a representative for my state and other groups that I know of. The animosity that I see out there between the citizens, all of them, and the government is frightening. What they did was, after listening to all these abuses and government atrocities that you're going to hear here today, and they saw that they were going to no avail, they decided to see what they could do to become part of the solution. They looked into the law, and under Title 10 USC 311 saw a phenomenon known as the unorganized militia that consists of all people, even the people taking these pictures right here, everyone. And they began to form themselves in units for their own self-defense and their self-preservation. Now, the way we stand now, and it's good that we're getting these views aired out, because 200 years ago, the British didn't get the hint until they saw dead redcoats out there. But this time, maybe we can get this out in the open and have things resolved. Because I feel, and it's concerning to me, and I'm being sincerely honest, that with the increasing polarization between the tax-paying public out here and what goes on, not only in here, but certain state governments, that the only thing standing between some of the current legislation being contemplated and armed conflict is time. It's one of the reasons I got in this movement, to help prevent that. Now, you can see from the last 2 years of sales from the firearms producers in this country, this nation is probably one of the most heavily armed forces on earth. And I have heard more and more people say, if one of these black-suited, armor-wearing, state-sponsored terrorists come kicking down my door, I'm going to blow somebody away. They don't call themselves militia. They don't even call themselves patriots. They call themselves American citizens who are getting tired of confiscatory tax rates, increasingly heavy regulations, which is, they believe, are leading them down a path to involuntary servitude. And one of the slogans that's been going around, especially in Ohio, is what I've been telling people, for those who think that this is just primarily an angry white male movement, is that if our ancestors would have been armed, they would not have been slaves. That's why people are getting armed. Not so much with firepower. That's not the thing that makes it dangerous. What makes it dangerous is that they're being armed with knowledge. What you're going to see is a growing number of citizens, and you're seeing that now, that's why we're here, move away from the authority that is here in the Beltway, and began to create their own constitutional authority. You're going to begin to see this in the resurgence of the common law courts. You're going to begin to see this, and I'm going to summarize here, in the formation of the militias. That's what came first to defend ourselves. But you're also going to see this on the legislative end. You're going to see your own candidates in our own elections, and hopefully that we can become a system which will attract others into a more constitutional-based system. Thank you very much.
So, right, and you hear the word militia, and it's kind of like they have us conditioned that there's like a hint of bad guy with that. You know what I mean?
Guys ready to fight everybody.
Right. They're these militias. They're trying to take down, our way of life.
Here comes the militia.
But what he said there was I think the next guy says that's how this country was formed. That's how this country was formed. Okay?
That's right. And here we are at that same point.
Yeah. And it's it is. We are in revolutionary times. And the second guy, I don't know if you have anything you want to add before we get there.
Before we get into the second guy, who was also just as powerful to listen to. Whether you are weirded out by what this guy said or whatever, I remember 1988, 1987, I'm living in Florida. And I worked at this place, and it was a restaurant and a resort, right? And they had a room service section. And the room service had about 3 guys always reading gun stuff, right? And I would go in, and I'd be like, hey, what do you do? He's like, dude, you should come and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, guns, I don't mess with guns. He goes, well, we have a militia group. You'd like it? I'm like, whoa. Like, I never even heard of that word. That was beyond mind-blowing, and he scared the living life out of me. From that moment on, I never looked at that guy to skate. I was like, that guy is creating like 40 people, and they're gonna take out. Like, they got a militia.
Right.
Militia. Totally Long Island banana. All I knew was watching TV and MTV. This guy's got a militia, right? But I was like, but he's he's a good guy. And he would, the Constitution, you're going to see one day, Jimbo, you're too blind right now. This whole country's too blind, but this whole government's not even ours. It's a corporate government that's running our land, but everyone thinks we are. No, because there's not even voting. They're robbing us blind. We never won the war. Why do
I've heard that.
He said, why do you think DC all looks like it's from England? If we won the war, we do just the opposite. Wouldn't we build things just the opposite of the way they built it? Emperors still own you.
That's what they say. And
this is not
like you can
bunker. Just a reminder. This is a bunker. These are just thoughts. These are characters. We don't know this is fact.
People do talk about that a couple of things. One, that we never left the Queen. Right, we never left England. That we basically signed, like, all right, let's make a deal. All right, we're gonna let the people are gonna think they're free, and we're gonna kind of get the lawyers to draw it up.
Blah blah, and they think they're one, and they're gonna be all excited.
They say the same thing happened with World War II, by the way, which is a whole nother bunker, and I would love to, go in that one.
World War II bunker. I have some theories too. It may piss off a lot of people, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah. No, but you see, this is the thing.
But I'm ready for it.
Right. This has nothing to do with the foot soldier or anybody else. You know, those people were patriots in every sense of the word. You know what I mean?
Well, what I was going to say about that guy in the militia, and I say this on stage now, whether you believe it or not, whether you agree with it or not, I'm telling you, the majority of this country after 2020 started saying and seeing things
Yeah.
that just weren't right. That is why so many guns have been sold. Why do you think so many guns? People were buying 4 guns, 5 guns, guns that have never, ever, they never left the shelf. They couldn't sell them quick enough. They were out of guns. They were
Right.
out of ammunition. That's how many Americans were running to the gun store. And when I tell you people that never even thought of having a gun went out and got a
Right.
gun. People that never
You,
thought or dreamed of holding an AR went out and bought ARs. And
Now,
that's
let
reality.
me just personally, like people, I consider myself
But
a
what before you even
hold
say
on.
that,
Okay.
before hold that thought. The reason why they're doing is because they don't trust this government, right?
100%.
They don't trust it. And you can agree with that or not, but that's the honest answer. Sorry, Jimbo, go.
No, well, what I was going to say is that I consider myself like a gun rights pacifist. I'm a pacifist by nature. I'm like, live and let live. Let's get, we could figure this out, right? We're all, humanity is just one. Humanity is all part of one thing. We're all one. But I believe in gun rights 100%, because the minute you say no guns, that's when they say, we got you. Hello, Australia. Hello, Australia.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's it. That
And
was
you
the
know
only
what?
point I wanted to make.
I just want people to know it doesn't matter if you're for or against. This is reality, and whether you want to face it or not, that is
Right.
entirely you. I mean, this guy's just laying it on the line. And I'm gonna be dead honest with you. Dead honest with you. I've had multiple people approach me and say, hey man, do you have a plan when things go down? Did you ever hear that growing up as a child? Did you ever hear that
Right.
growing up?
Right. What's your bug out? What's your bug out
Right
plan?
here, right now, I've had multiple, and I'm talking about couples. I'm not talking about some crazy gun guy. I'm talking about couples you would never expect going, hey, like, do you guys have, I'm like, whoa. Personal question. They're like, we just want to know who's who when things go down. That's
Yep.
a reality right now. And it's
Well,
not that
there's,
I want to hear people, but I think this is an opportunity to start building communities and getting to know each other. And you don't
yeah.
have to like
Yeah.
each other. You don't have to like each other, but you should know each other. You
Now,
should understand.
yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
But whether you think, oh, all this politics, it's not really what's going on. It doesn't matter, because I follow this guy on YouTube. He is like a weatherman for space. He calls himself Suspicious Observers. The
I love it.
O is a zero in observers, but you can find him on YouTube, Suspicious Observers, and he'll do like a weather report on the sun. Okay, where he'll say like, and it's really interesting because he'll say, oh, today there was this like solar flare or something. We could expect earthquakes like Wednesday. Sure enough, Wednesday, boom, there's earthquakes. He's like, there'll be tornadoes, maybe within the next 4 days. And sure enough, like, boom, there they are. Right. But anyway, this guy just showed this like video. He does like a 5-minute report every day. He just shows this report where like he shows this solar flare that was like, it was just bloop, this big bloop came out of the sun, right? And he goes, luckily that was facing the opposite direction of the earth, because if that blip faced the earth and that went by us, he goes, it would have sent the electrical grid back to the Stone Age.
Wow.
Like, he goes, there would be transformers blowing up on every block in every city around the country. Okay. It would have knocked our grid out. So again, what's your plan? What's your plan when that blackout happens where it just doesn't come back on? You know what I mean? You got water, you got food, you know, like a lot of people are like, I was just at this guy's house. He's got chickens in his backyard on Long Island, on the North Shore, like a wealthy house. He's got chickens in his backyard. He's got goats.
But those are the people that are gonna have to arm up, because when things start going down, you're gonna know.
Hey, can I get an egg?
And they might have bigger. Dude, it's gonna be mad. And that's another thing. You could think you have it all, but eventually, the ones straggling that don't are gonna come to you going, "We gotta steal that damn chicken. Can we have an egg? No? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna come back with 20 of us to take this over." Let's hope it turns into that. But anyway, do you want to play the rest of that guy?
I do. And like I said, listen very carefully to what he says about the Constitution, because people are like, oh, I never thought of it that way when you watch this.
Thank you, Mr.
Today, the following statement will attempt to answer the question of the legitimacy and the need of the citizen militia. Not only does the Constitution specifically allow the formation of a federal army, it also recognizes the inherent right of the people to form militia. Further, it recognizes that the citizen and his personal armament are the foundation of the militia. The arming of the militia is not left to the state, but to the citizen. However, should the state choose to arm its citizen militia, it is free to do so, bearing in mind that the Constitution is not a document limiting the citizen, but rather limiting the power of government. But should the state fail to arm its citizen militia, the right of the people to keep and bear arms becomes the source of the guarantee that the state will not be found defenseless in the presence of a threat to its security. It makes no sense whatsoever to look to the Constitution of the United States or that of any state for permission to form a citizen militia, since logically the power to permit is also the power to deny. If brought to its logical conclusion in this case, government may deny the citizen the right to form a militia. If this were to happen, the state would assert itself as the principal of the contract, making the people the agents. Liberty then would depend on the state's grant of liberty. Such a concept is foreign to American thought. While the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution recognizes the existence of the state militia and recognizes their necessity for securing a free state, and while it also recognizes that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, the Second Amendment is not the source of the right to form a militia nor to keep and bear arms. Those rights existed in the states prior to the formation of the Federal Union. In fact, the right to form militia and to keep and bear arms exists from antiquity. The enumeration of those rights in the Constitution only underscores their natural occurrence and importance. According to the 10th Amendment, ultimate power over the militia is not delegated to the federal government by the Constitution. Consequently, the power of the militia remains in the hands of the people. Again, the fundamental function of the militia in society remains with the people. Therefore, the Second Amendment recognizes that the militia's existence and the security of the state rests ultimately in the people, who volunteer their persons to constitute the militia and their arms to supply its firepower. The primary defense of the state rests with the citizen militia bearing its own arms. Fundamentally, it is not the state that defends the people, but the people who defend the state. The second line of defense of the state consists of a statutory organization known as the National Guard. Whereas the National Guard is solely the creation of statutory law, the militia derives its existence from the inherent inalienable rights which existed before the Constitution and whose importance are such that they merit specific recognition in that document. While the National Guard came into existence as the result of legislative activity, the militia existed before there was a nation or a constitutional form of government. The militia, consisting of people owning and bearing personal weapons, is the very authority out of which the United States Constitution grew. This point must be emphasized. Neither the citizen's militia nor the citizen's private arsenal can be an appropriate subject of federal regulation. It was the armed militia of the United the American colonies whose own efforts ultimately led to the establishment of the United States of America. While some may say that the right to keep and bear arms is granted to Americans by the Constitution, just the opposite is true. The federal government itself is the child of the armed citizen. We, the people, are the parent of the child we call government. You, senators, are part of the child that we, the people, gave life to. The increasing amount of federal encroachment into our lives indicates the need for parental corrective action. In short, the federal government needs a good spanking to make it behave. One other important point needs to be made. Since the Constitution is the limiting document upon the government cannot become greater than the granting power. The servant cannot become greater than its master. Therefore, should the chief executive or other branch of government or all branches together act to suspend the Constitution under a rule of martial law, all power granted to government would be canceled and deferred back to the granting power, that is the people. And I'll conclude with this statement: martial law shall not be possible in this country as long as the people recognize the Bill of Rights as inalienable. My statement is not complete, however, it has been made part of the record for those who would like to review it. Thank you very much.
Now, Sam, while you're being distracted by there's a war in Ukraine, is there? What is going on? Why they're distracting you? Oh, there's gun shooting over there, the war over there, and hey, here's your favorite sports team, and what's going on Fox News, and what's going on CNBC. These is what's going on that they're not ever going to show you. This is another reason why they want to ban TikTok. TikTok is wreaking havoc with too many people catching too much information, too much truth, too much videos. And it has awakened a monstrosity of humanity. The ridiculous of, TikTok is free. Please, your phone, Google, everywhere you go, you got to fill out your name, your address. They take your eyes, your passport. Don't give me some nonsense that they're spying on you. Let's say they are. You don't think Google, Twitter, all that is already there? You don't think the government? I mean, stop. You're being ridiculous. Anyone that believes, you know what I mean? Anyone that believes that, TikTok's a bad guy, you're a moron. You're a moron. I don't know how else to help you. You've lost yourself. Get out of the matrix. They started tracking you at the freaking in the car. We're here to protect you as we listen to you in your car. Hello,
Jimbo.
Wake up.
So two things. One, Russia just banned iPhones. Why would Putin specifically say, I don't want these fucking iPhones in my country anymore? Why? Because of what you just talked about. Exactly that. All right. Now here's the other thing. And this is just a like, good for you people. Amazon is closing all these, what are they called? Amazon Go stores or something like that. Yeah. They're like convenience stores by Amazon. And their big dream was that when you walk in the store, they basically biometrically scan you. Okay, they know who you are, facial, exactly what you're talking about, facial recognition. They got they know who you are. All right, biometrically scan you, and you pick up whatever you want, and then you head home. All right. So they know what products you buy now. They know what your habits are. They know what times you go there. So they're going to use all that for advertising, and you all
seeing that and consuming, which includes your time.
What?
And it includes your energy and time. It consumes everything. They know how to consume you. It's a leech. Don't you want to buy some new shoes? Or don't you want to watch your favorite news channel? Don't you want to get all worked out about some new political law? Don't you want to see what's going on in Ukraine? Don't you hate Donald Trump? Can't you hate him some more? Don't you believe that the LGBTQ issue can get bigger? It's just like a leech sucks on you like a straw.
Yeah.
Bicker with your neighbor.
Yeah. So anyway, all these Amazon stores are closing because people like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. And that's all it is. Guys, where are the people? Just
Yeah.
no thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. Yeah.
I want us all not. When do we all just stop paying taxes? How do we do that? How do we just go? Yeah, no, nobody's sending it in. What, we have National Pet a Dog Day, National Go Fart on the Roof Day,
Yeah.
National that. Well, how about National Nobody Pays Taxes
A
year?
lot of people don't. A lot of people don't because and if the government comes after them, they basically say, no, it's not legal. It's not actually legal. It's not constitutional. It's not yeah. And they anytime it goes to court, it's always thrown out and the people win because they're right. And the government knows that because they're playing that game too. They don't have to pay taxes either. Anyway, go on.
Well, no. But what blew my mind away is how that guy said, "We created this government. You are governed by us, and now you have abused your power.
Yeah.
And now you are abusing your master. We are your master."
Right. We're the parent, you're the child. And the Constitution is not to protect us, it's to limit you.
Correct. And in my deepest feelings, I believe things like January 6th, how they wanted to make it one of the worst days in history, which is, no offense, just ridiculous. When you compare it, I think Pamela, whatever, I don't even know her name. I don't want to give her the respect of saying what her role is. She says it was as bad as a Revolutionary War. I don't know. Said I heard one of those dummies said Revolutionary War, September 11th. The atrocity to try to compare the two is complete hilarious. But I think that's just they are on to. We don't trust you anymore. We don't like you anymore. And to be quite frank, when you see other countries when they've had it,
Yeah.
they rule the roost. They storm. You don't hear the government's going, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that." They're in our home. DC is not even part of our country. It's
Right.
a corporate. It's from other countries ruling our land, ruling ourselves, and they know, and they're starting to realize we're catching on.
Right. Right.
And
So that go ahead.
Oh, and another thing I was going to say. So they're going to continue to try to make you think, "Oh, don't even think about questioning and showing up in groves because you saw what happened back then. Like, we'll arrest people. I mean, this is serious." And you got that, and then you got, remember the Michigan that dictatorship from Nazi whatever her name is, the Nazi governor, Michigan female. If she's female, I don't even know.
I don't remember, but anyway.
Gretchen, whatever her name is.
Gretchen Whitmore.
Oh, a militia tried to kidnap her. Everybody knew that was full of donkey dust. Everybody. Right. Nobody fell for that hook. And then, of course, It got weird that it was all nonsense. But this is their game.
Yeah.
And coming to a rapid head because too many worldwide people see exactly what's going on. But dude, this militia thing really is the first time in my life where I didn't see it. I see it as something completely different.
It's like noble. It's actually noble because you're putting yourself on the line for what you believe in, for your family, for your freedom, for your country.
It's crazy, but
yeah.
It's and like I said, people that make big money from big organizations are willing to keep their slavery, to bully you, to bully your thought process, to bully your beliefs, to bully your God-given instinct. They prey on fear because they are the serpents of humanity. And calling Joe Biden that, which he's dead. Sorry, you can call me whatever you want. That is not Joe Biden. If you think that's Joe Biden, you are part of the problem. I don't know what to tell you. That is, I don't even know what that is anymore. You really think that's the real Joe Biden? You're so far. You got to move over. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you.
Watch one interview with old Biden.
I'll give you one right now. Mike, can you play? As a matter of fact, he talks about gay marriage. Can you talk about I think it was the last one I sent you, Mike. This is Joe Biden.
The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here? The world's going...
Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is the real Joe Biden. And I have one more video for you. If you can call me whatever you want. Jim Brewer's gone wacky. No, you're wacky. You're wacky. If you look at that thing on TV and you think that's the actual Joe Biden, you're wacky. You've lost. You've insulted your intelligence that you won't take time to think for yourself. Play this video. This is the real Joe Biden when he's bribing the guy in Ukraine. A bribe. He's bribing.
I was not but it just happened to be that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones, so I got Ukraine, and I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Now that Jimbo is... What?
You want $1 billion? You got to fire that prosecutor. Huh. Wasn't Trump, hung for making a phone call asking about this? You want $1 billion? You gotta fire that prosecutor that's on my son's ass and that he's finding all this corruption. Get rid of him now, or you don't get the $1 billion. There's your leader, everybody.
There's your quid pro quo, they call it, right?
Pro quo. Wasn't that Adam Schiff with his big bug eyes?
Yeah.
All those
But
guys.
Anyway,
that's real Joe Biden.
No, wait a second. Real Joe Biden is the one that did those things and said, you're not getting $1 billion. But that clip, that clip was a newer one. This is what I think. Obviously, we don't know. But I think that was the new Joe Biden that was on film. Basically, I feel like he's playing for the good guys, because for him to say that, blatantly to say, yeah, I basically committed treason and everybody. Hey, that's basically what he. On film. Right. So I think that was the new one. And also I'm very, auditorily inclined. Old Joe Biden had a deeper voice. New
Oh yeah,
Joe Biden has a higher voice. If anything, as you age, your voice gets lower. Okay.
way low.
So if you A B the two of them, you could hear new Biden, old Biden, new Biden, old Biden. So
That's an interesting theory. I never would have thought that. Now that's a great bunker theory. That's the newer Biden, and he's actually a good guy, and that's why, like, he's all right. You got to go out and blatantly bribe in front of the world. So when this comes back in years, hey, you want your $1 billion, and you got to fire the prosecutor.
right.
So there's your bribe. You want it? You want this money? Get rid of the prosecutor. A prosecutor is one that finds crimes. He's prosecuting. He's
Right.
prosecuting somebody who broke the law. He's not a defense lawyer. He broke the law. Joe Biden says, you want $1 billion with his hands all cocked. He's like, and I told him, you want it? You're going to have to fire the, and I quote, prosecutor. And I'll be a son of a bitch. They fired the prosecutor. Nothing to see here, folks. Oh my God, they can't laugh in your face any harder.
Jimbo, too bad you don't look enough like Biden,
What?
because you would have been a great. Too bad you don't look like Biden, because you would have been a great fake Biden. You just walk in just like that and do that.
He's so annoyed too with the gays. Like, what's the problem? Gay marriage? That's ridiculous. Man marries woman. That's it. There's your Joe Biden.
Right.
So I think this was a fun bunker. We ended here. I'm not going to keep you from the beautiful Mars. Get back to Mars. Enjoy the rest
Yeah,
of the day.
Mars is doing good. Right. I'm like I said, I'm glad I have internet on Mars.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, just go to the World According to Shaka on Telegram, and go to Jimmy Shaka, Shaka, on Truth Social.
There you go. Shaka. Right? You got to keep up with me, and you, the fans, got to keep up. We got to put out those songs. I want to send me those stuff here. Addicted. All the stuff we put together. All right.
And let's do the event like you were talking about. I'll play. Larry can play, and we'll whatever.
We'll have fun, man. All right. Be safe. Have a good one. That was a fun bunker. I did some testimonials in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I didn't know how to do them for the longest time. And when I say testimonial, I don't mean from a Bible or something like that, and nothing against anyone in that world, but I'm telling you, I told stories that have happened in my life, and the way I thought they were, and how they were controlled, and how it's helped me. It's helped me from a moral, godly view. Isn't that funny how I'm talking about that and it gets interested? You can't even make that up. No, that's okay. Mike, can you even? That's the devil. That's the devil. So I guess what I'm telling everyone, it felt really good to put that stuff out there. It really did. I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere. And hopefully it'll help people, because it really happened. Many of them happen. It's something I really want to get into. And as much as we get into the bunker and some of these things that we looked at today, it's just to make you think, wonder, use it for entertainment, use it for whatever it brings to you, if it brings anything to you. But at the end of the day, let's get back to just creating humbleness, getting to know each other. And God forbid if anything ever did happen, let's start learning now how to take care of one another again. Thanks for hanging on the bunker. Thank you, Jimmy Shaka. Thank you, Mike. We'll see you next week in the Breuniverse.
Take a look around and what do you see? Mark the date down tonight, we're making history.
Hey, this is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live comedy concert streamed once a month. Weekly, you host your own podcast and you interview me. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and have bonus footage and bonus segments. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.